So I speak Hindi and Urdu. And there's certain curse words in Hindi and Urdu that just cannot be articulated in English. I'm gonna give you the Hindi curse word, you give me the Spanish currency exchange. So we don't say motherfucker.
No, what do you say?
Banjod.
Banjod.
Sister fucker.
Sister fucker. Yeah. Oh my God. Sister fucker. Sister fucker.
What's the Spanish equivalent of banjod?
Hijo de puta.
Hijo de puta.
Hijo de puta. Come mierda. Te meto la verga en el culo para que se lo chupe mal parido, hijo de puta.
Translate.
Oh, goddamn motherfucker, shit-eating piece of crap. Born of filth.
Got you. Okay. Sometimes when I would get in trouble with my pops, he'd call me haramzada.
Haramzada.
Like, haramzada! Like that.
And what does that mean?
Like, you good for nothing piece of shit.
Oh, wow.
Like, you haramzada! Like that. Like, you fucking haramzada. Like, you came late, haramzada.
Oh, shit.
What would your dad yell at you that's like, you fucking good for nothing piece of shit?
You good for nothing piece of shit.
Oh, he'd do it just with the accent.
Yes, because he would use that.
Look, you have idiot, you have dummy.
What don't we have?
You don't have ulukapata.
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 Which means son of an owl. Like, you got a parking ticket when it says 15 minutes only and you decided to park there the entire day? Fucking ulukapata.
But we have pendejo. We have pendejo.
But so what is
pendejo? Is a pubic hair. Like dummy, you idiot, you stupid moron. It's moron.
Oh, pendejo is
pendejo, but it really means pubic hair.
Got you. So if your son left his homework at home,
oh, que pendejo.
Pendejo.
Your little pubic hair.
Okay, got you. Any ones that that you love in Spanish that we don't use enough?
Vulgarities?
Yeah.
La verga.
La verga.
La verga with your dick. But the dick means good.
La verga sounds like...
No, la verga.
Oh, so...
It's how you say it, la verga. Like
gotcha.
Fuck, man. Like fuck can be fuck or fuck. Or fuck.
So you go, la verga.
La verga.
Oh,
yeah, it's good.
Okay.
That shit is la verga.
Yeah.
When I tell people John Leguizamo had a huge influence on my career, they usually seem surprised because they only think of him as a film actor. And yeah, he's had incredible characters on screen, like Tybalt in Romeo and Juliet, Toulouse-Lautrec in Moulin Rouge, Chichi Rodriguez in Tu Wong Fu, Vinny in Summer of Sam, and Benny Blanco in Carlito's Way. A performance that was so iconic that this Benny Blanco literally named himself after him. I mean, come on, Benny might have a bigger crush on John Leguizamo than his own fiancée. But to me, John Leguizamo's most important work was on the stage. Between 1991 and 2017, Leguizamo wrote and performed in 6 one-man shows. He is part of a long tradition of comedic storytelling that is still going strong today. So I sat down with one of my creative heroes to talk about his amazing career, what a psychopath Christopher Columbus was, in his new film, Bob Trevino Likes It.
Hurry right away, no delay, stop today. Make your daddy glad you have had such a last.
This episode is brought to you by Kolkata Chai. Want a healthier morning habit? Put down the coffee and drink chai. I only drink the best, Kolkata Chai. You can get it right now at kolkatachai.co. Oh, and you should probably exercise. I heard that works too.
You're one of my top 5 dead or alive.
Oh, get out.
Yes. Yes.
For real? You're just saying that because we're on camera, bruh.
No. Why would I print it in size? Why would I do it in size 12 font?
All right, I'm gonna have to drink extra coffee then, so I can be ready for you.
All right, for those of you guys that don't know, this is Benny Blanco from Carlito's Way, okay?
Right. I'm the only person to have killed Al Pacino successfully in a movie.
Yes.
Maybe Scarface.
All right, we're talking about Tybalt and Baz Luhrmann's Romeo and Juliet. We're talking about Chichi Rodriguez and Wong Fu. We're talking about Vinny and Spike Lee's Summer of Sam. But that's not even including how you inspired me.
How did I inspire you?
Your one-man show bag. 1991, Mambo Mouth.
I thought it was my sex life.
No.
My love life.
No. I didn't get it.
It's not inspiring to anybody.
I didn't get that in the. I didn't get the WikiLeaks on that.
Yeah.
All right, Mambo Mouth 91. All right, 93 Spikorama. 98 Freak. That was the first thing that I saw.
Right. Because you were just born.
Yeah, I was just born. 2002 Sexaholics. 2010 Ghetto Clown. 2017 Latin History for Morons. So listen.
Yes, I'm listening.
You clearly have a body of work that's undeniable.
Well, yeah, I'm 60. I better have done some shit.
No, but a lot of times people don't give, I think specifically, and this is going to be a theme in the whole convo, specifically Latinos their credit
Yes.
in the way they've impacted art and culture.
Oh my God, what are you reading my thoughts? Oh my God, that's so crazy.
Well, no. So I'm just trying to articulate what you have been talking about and give it an espresso
That's
shot.
a big thing for me. Is I feel like my biggest beef with America is the erasure of Latin contributions.
Correct.
To the making of America, the building of America, because we've been here since 1492. Do you know what I mean? The first European language spoken in the North America was Spanish, not English. Because they were the conquistadors were all Spanish.
Yes.
And they came to Florida, California. They discovered the Mississippi before Lewis and Clark. And who was there before that? Indigenous people. And we Latin people are indigenous people. Like when I do my DNA, all Latin people do it, it says Native American. It doesn't say, Inca or Maya. It says Native American.
So I was thinking about this. And we're going to get to, I want to put a pin in that because we're going to get to that later. We're going to go deep on this.
Oh, sorry.
We're going to go deep on fucking Christopher Columbus and how he's a psychopath. Like we got a lot of clips to unload, okay? But
we're peaceful.
We're peaceful.
These are mime guns.
Yeah.
We're not into guns.
All right. Let's talk about something light. Let's talk about the time that you killed Lee Strasberg.
Yes.
Okay.
That was something, it was unintentional.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know, Lee Strasberg is the founder of the Actors Studio.
Yes, and of the method.
And he is
one of the founding fathers.
One of the founding fathers of the method acting in the United States of America.
Yes, with the whole group theater who brought Stanislavski technique to American acting and gave us Brando and Pacino and all these great...
Yeah. Every Caucasian goat he influenced. Marlon Brando, Marilyn Monroe, James Dean, Al Pacino. But after a class, in your memoir, you write, quote, this is what Lee Strasberg says to him. It's John motherfucking Leguizamo, all right? Just look at the top paragraph on his Wikipedia. He says, you barely have any talent, you bore me, get out of my class.
Yes, but he said that he talked like this. You have barely any talent, get out of my class. He had like a speech coughing towards, maybe that's why he passed away that night.
Well, he died that night.
Yeah, he did, for real. Like, I'm not joking. They closed the whole method school. People didn't do method for like a week because he was gone.
Oh, they're like R.I.P. Lee Strasberg?
Yeah.
Got it. All right. So I'm reading this, and I'm like, how the fuck did you process that?
Well, I killed a lot of acting teachers. He wasn't the only one. I mean, Herbert Berghoff died. I was in his class. He started HB Studios. When Handman is gone. Yeah, I killed a lot of acting teachers.
Well, there's a lot of young...
And it didn't stop me, though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. See, there's a lot of young actors, a lot of young comics, to be told you suck by, dare I say, a master of the craft.
But, I mean, you got to expect that.
How did you get over that?
Well, I was in New York, and, I grew up in a very aggressive New York of that era. Everybody was always telling you shit, right to your face, telling you suck, fuck you. That's how you grew up in New York City. So when you go to these classes and teachers are telling you suck, or the other David Gidding at Lee Strasberg was also like always on me, get out of my class and stuff. You don't take it as seriously.
Oh, you brushed it off. You brushed it off.
Yeah, I was like, I knew I sucked. That's why I'm here to study with you, motherfucker. Why do you think I'm in your class? Because I'm great. If I was great, I wouldn't be in your class. Come on. But they like to talk like that. New Yorkers, you know how they're in your face all the time. Where'd you grow up?
I grew up in California. It wasn't this aggressive, yeah.
No, it wasn't. New York was aggressive. Back then in the 70s, come on, everybody was aggressive.
So you didn't take it a certain way?
No, I didn't. Why would I? I know what I was there for. And
was there any New Yorker that would break you? Like if Patrick Ewing came up to you and it's like, you suck at basketball, would that break you? Like,
that would hurt.
Yeah, like what New York icon? Would fucking. So the drama stuff, you're like, man, fuck all these like actors.
No, because drama was like, this is foreign to me. Basketball, I was playing every day, and if I sucked, that would really hurt my feelings. Because I spent so many hours working on it.
All right, so people don't know this. So John wrote this amazing book in 2007. All right, so I got this book in college. It's called Pimps, Hoes, Playa Haters, and All My Other Hollywood Friends.
Oh, as white people say, playa.
They say playa?
Playa.
Oh, playa haters. You really don't like the beach. But what was the alternate title? Was it scumbag, sociopath, pieces of shit? Oh yeah, and that's just also including my manager.
But Hollywood was rough, man. It still is rough. It was not ever for people of color, never for Latinos, which is bizarre because when the founding fathers of Hollywood got to LA in the early 1900s, it had just been Mexico 60 years before. They were surrounded by Latinos who were being redlined. That means you can't move into certain neighborhoods. They were being lynched in the 1800s. Lots of Latinos were lynched in California and the West Coast. They were segregated. The first cases against segregation in America were Latinos. The Maestas family in Colorado in 1914, and they won. And then it was Sylvia Mendez in the 1940s that paved the way for Brown versus Board of Ed. Yeah. So we were lynched, segregated. Latina women were experimented on in the early 1900s all over California. They were sterilized against their knowledge and their will. I mean, the founding fathers of Hollywood came in there into this apartheid state and welcomed it. They signed up for it, which is crazy. And then that, because you go to LA right now, it's 50% Latino. Hollywood is in a 50% Latino state, and none of the executives are Latino. Yeah. That's crazy. That's an apartheid cultural state.
I was going to ask you this, which is...
I mean, I'll get deep. I'm not afraid.
No. Because
I'll throw down. I don't give a shit. I told you I'm from the 70s New York. Yeah. Shit, come for me.
When I was reading the book, and I'm coming up as a young comic and actor and all those sort of things, do you have any piece of advice that you give now that you're 60 that you would tell your younger self? Yeah, to your old self. Or to even, you know, a young performer that's feeling a certain way, that's feeling like, hey, they're holding me small here.
Yeah.
I feel like they're trying to sun me here a little bit. Because I've felt that way on set before.
You have? Oh, you're going to feel
like bro, that. I'm number 8 on the call sheet.
Yeah.
I'm here to move exposition forward.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
The master of serving the plot.
This is me.
Yeah.
John, you have your call at 2. Yeah. And then that's my coverage. And they go, let's go again. And let's go again. I go, John, you have your call at 2. And they go, and cut. And that's my stuff.
Right, Mr. Move the plot along.
I'm move exposition.
Services. Yeah. I wasn't all about that, you know, because I had ideas, you know. There weren't a lot of opportunities, and I really cherished all my opportunities, and I was like, I'm gonna make this a meal. I'm gonna feast on this motherfucking role. So in Carlito's Way, I was ad-libbing like crazy, and you know, lead actors don't like it that much. They can only take so much, but I knew that what I had was gold, so I just kept doing my thing.
So no regrets, honestly? Like you feel...
No, I had to do what I had to do to make it in this country, to make it as a Latin actor. You know, when I was coming up, we used to have this thing called, you know, the casting of what was happening that whole week.
Sure, and breakdowns.
The breakdown, thank you, the breakdown. Yeah. But it was like Jim Crow. It was like white actor, white lead, white doctor, white romantic interest, barely any Latino things. And you could ask your agent, can I just do my monologue? They wouldn't see you. They wouldn't see you for anything. Unless they said Latino drug dealer, Latino killer. And it was like that. That was the real deal, man. No matter how much you studied, no matter how talented you were, your opportunities were nil.
You write about this. You say, when we're 50% of the population in Los Angeles, this is Latinos, but less than 3% of the faces in front of the camera or behind the camera, that's cultural apartheid. When we're equal to whites in New York City in population size, but less than 1% of the stories or staff at the New York Times, the New York Post, and the New Yorker, or any other rag that has the city on its banner, that's cultural apartheid.
Oh, yes, it is.
Now listen, we've been in a lot of general meetings. We've been in a lot of workshops. We heard that, hey, Hollywood, show business, art, and culture, it's a dollars and cents game.
Yeah.
But when I see specifically the Latino community, look, Asian Americans we're less than maybe 1 to 4% of the US population. But Latinos are roughly a quarter of the United States of America. John, why isn't the population mass that Latinos have in this country equivalent to cultural mass and weight?
Because look at where we come from, man. I mean, being redlined, segregated, we don't have enough executives who are Latino. I mean, what is that? I mean, it's so impossible to make it in America as a Latino man. I've talked to all these Latin executives in every industry, and they said they were good enough to train the next people who get promoted, but we're not good enough to be promoted ourselves. And look at that. I mean, in this industry, I mean, with my track record, I should have... Where's my brutalist? When are they making a Latino brutalist? Where are they making these movies that are telling us stories? They're just not. Even though they're taking we give 30% of the U.S. box office. We contribute $3.4 trillion to $3.2 trillion to the GDP annually. If we were our own country, we'd be the 5th largest economy in the world. That's in America alone.
Yes.
And we're 500 million Spanish speakers. Where there are no gatekeepers, we're winning. Like in music. Bad Bunny is #1 in the world. And who was number one before? J.B. Balvin, a Colombian rapper. And who was before that was Drake. So when there are no gatekeepers and decision makers who don't see the value in Latin stories or Latin artists, then you have a problem. You know what I mean? That's why we're still being held back. I mean, I know Trump says and the Republicans say that racism is over in America, but it's not. DEI was important to me. It was very important. It was a beautiful moment of equalizing and improving the opportunities that were sorely missing.
This episode is brought to you by Kolkata Chai. Gentler caffeine, low sugar, and bold flavor. That's the promise of chai. I'm talking about the rich, authentic flavors of masala chai, made with organically sourced tea and hand-milled spices, started by two real brothers in 2019. This chai is the real deal. If you don't believe me, this is the only chai we serve in my house. Grab the best chai in the game at kolkatachai.co.
When you wrote Latin History for Dummies, it was your last one-man show. You wrote it in 2017, but what sparked that idea is you have young brown kids.
Yes.
You said it's because your kids were getting bullied.
Yeah.
That got you to write this show. How does the past, why did you write that show as a way for the past to connect to the present? What was it about that moment that made you go, I need to contextualize all of this?
Well, because it was a shock to me, because, you know, here we are, it was 2017, my son is being bullied in school, and it was shocking to me that a Latin kid would be bullied in school in 2017. What, to be back into, like, you know, when I was growing up getting bullied in school. And then when I started doing research, I wanted to weaponize, I want to give my son words to defeat himself and defend himself, you know what I mean? Not defeat himself, defend himself. Because I grew up, you know, if somebody hits you, hit him back, you know, punch for punch, knock him out, tooth for a tooth.
Yeah.
I didn't want to be that kind of dad. I didn't want to continue the cycle of violence. So I wanted to weaponize my son's language so he could defend himself. So I started doing research, and then all of a sudden I'm like the one that's changing. I'm the one that's improving because I'm finding out, wait a minute, what? We invented the color TV. We invented the artificial heart and the electric brake. Wait a minute. We did Duolingo and the captcha code. I know that's annoying, but yeah.
I think Duolingo's great.
Duolingo's good. Captcha code is a problem. But all these incredible inventions.
Wait, Latinos invented captcha?
Yeah, captcha code. Yeah.
Wait, you're talking about captcha, like pick, which are these?
Yeah.
Pick
He's
five,
the same
the
guy that invented Duolingo.
Like, what part of Latin America is he from?
I think it's Guatemala. I can't totally remember right now. Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Central America for sure.
All right, can I give you one?
Yeah.
I want to pitch you one critical piece of historical context that connects both you and I.
Oh, beautiful. Go ahead, bring it.
All right, so as you know, Donald Trump right now is sending migrants to Guantanamo Bay.
Oh, yeah, horrible. A concentration camp.
Which was infamous for the war on terror.
Yeah,
okay.
Terrible.
But it's also the first place that the United States forces landed in 1898. Now get this. This was during the Spanish-American War. And it basically, that war kicked off the whole American empire. And it was from Guantanamo Bay.
Wow.
That the Marines then went to Puerto Rico, Guam, the Philippines, and on and on.
And on.
So this piece of land near Cuba,
wow.
127 years ago became like a little ancillary base of the American empire to wreak havoc.
To take over Latin America, because we thought we were getting free from Spain, and now we got independence. We're going to be, and all of a sudden America is like,
that's right.
Now we're coming for all of y'all. You ain't got Spain to protect you no more.
But for you as a New Yorker, basically Guantanamo Bay is to the American empire what the Bronx was to hip hop.
Yes,
like,
sir.
It was like this tiny little.
The one was
enclave.
good and one was not so good.
One was terrible. Have you heard that story?
Never. I didn't know that. That's
right.
The beginning of the Spanish Civil War and takeover of Latin America.
When you were researching your show, was there any piece of information that you saw that you were like, this absolutely blew my fucking mind?
Yeah, that the fact that we Latin people are the only ethnic group to have fought in every single war America has ever had. I'm talking about American Revolutionary War. 10,000 unknown Latino patriots fought in the American Revolution. We funded the American Revolution, $2 million from Spain, Cuba, and Mexico. General Galvez had 3,000 Puerto Ricans, Cubans, Mexicans, Native Americans, and freed slaves who kicked the British out of the Pensacola and the South, so they couldn't trap the Patriots. And that was the biggest thing that blew my mind. That was incredible. I was like, wait a minute, we've been fighting wars for America forever, and we still don't get any credit?
Yes, wow. That historical contextualization, I was researching for this too, and I just wanted to talk to you about this too, which is, I don't know what your relationship to Christopher Columbus is, but as an Indian, I fucking hate that guy. But people don't realize how big of a fucking psycho Christopher Columbus was.
He was horrific.
So in Latin History for Morons, you go off on Christopher Columbus. We're having this interview right now. We're on 38th Street, right? So we're in Midtown Manhattan.
Yes.
We're literally a 20-minute walk
from
Columbus Circle. Exactly.
But we should knock down that statue.
With a giant monument of Christopher fucking Columbus.
I told Cuomo when he was governor, like, get rid of that. You don't need Columbus. You have other great Italians. You have Frank Sinatra, Tony Bennett. You don't need him. You have Galileo. Get rid of Columbus. You don't need Columbus.
So please, for our audience that is listening and watching this, can you please explain how big of a psychopath Christopher Columbus was?
Well, he was horrible. He comes here, he meets the most beautiful, gentle people, the Tainos, and he writes in his journal that these people are so gentle and kind, it's going to be easy to kill them and destroy them. So that's what he writes in his journals. Then he has, in his journals, he writes that he's got a ring of beautiful young prostitutes, 9-year-old prostitutes. You know, he would sick dogs to eat babies. He would burn people alive. He would chop your hands off if you didn't bring enough gold and wrap them around your neck. He would cut your feet off if you tried to run. He was like the first Hitler, basically. He separated the men and the women, wouldn't let them conjugate or anything, and then he realized they were all dying, so he tried to make them conjugate. But you can't make people conjugate when you're forcing them and starving them to death.
Another important part of the story you tell is about specifically the gold. Like, they didn't just make them sign an unfair treaty or something like that. Spain literally stole $32 trillion of gold from Latin America.
Yes. 500,000 tons. You could fill the Empire State Building a time and a half. That's how much gold and twice as much silver they took from us. You know, the second half of the Renaissance was funded by our stolen wealth. The Enlightenment era was funded by all those beautiful empires in Europe.
Yes.
From the 16 and 1700s, that's all our stolen wealth. And then you wonder why Latin people, why aren't we further along? It's impossible to be further along when you've been raped and pillaged for over 500 years. It's impossible.
What do you feel your job as an artist is? You have all of this incredible history that you know, but painful history.
Yeah.
And how do you make sense of it? Was it the one-man
shows?
What
empowers me, man. Empowers me. Having all this knowledge has empowered me, and taught me that I have so much more to offer. Being a Latin person is like having a superpower. There's not another culture that has been completely almost genocided, religion destroyed, culture destroyed, language destroyed, and be able to contribute $3.2 trillion to the GDP. Being Latino is a superpower. I mean, once we get our shit together and we can get further along in this country, we're going to be unstoppable.
Politically, what's been going on this election, man? Because in record numbers, there were people from Bajistan, that's Latin America, Southeast Asia, that voted for Trump.
Oh, yeah.
Through this kind of pull the ladder up conservatism.
But it's
talk. Like,
it's about the proximity of whiteness. It's for our Bajistan brothers and sisters who feel like if they vote for Trump, they appear more white and less brown. And that's part of it. The proximity to whiteness is still a thing in America, do you know what I mean? So that's kind of important. And then you have Latino people are not a monolithic people.
Sure.
I mean, we have right-wing people too, and we have also hyper-Christianity. So you have that, people who are against abortion, who are homophobic. I mean, you have that too. I mean, the Republicans really know how to throw that red meat and get people galvanized.
Has this been a long thing that you've seen? Is this like, I've had deep WhatsApp conversations with family members about this, and the split is clear. There's the you won't be accepted by the evangelical base of the United States of America, the conservative base that has a very particular look and feel to it. You'll never be MAGA enough. And then there's a group of people that's like, get the bag and get yours and close the door.
Right.
Is that similar to the way
yes,
Latinos
a lot of that
look at
going
it?
on.
Okay.
Yeah. But also what's interesting is, I mean, the lead of the Proud Boys is an Afro-Latino.
Wait, what?
Come on, you know that.
No, I didn't know this.
Yeah. The man who leads the Proud Boys is an Afro-Latino Cuban guy. I'm blanking on his name right now, but that's crazy. And Nick Fuentes, one of the big right-wing, anti-Semitic, homophobic, misogynist, is a Mexican guy, Nick Fuentes, who goes to Mar-a-Lago and hangs out with Trump. I mean, these Latinos who are also brown or white passing, or white Latinos, are also part of this sort of white nationalist Christian movement, Christian nationalism. It's so wild, but we're allowed to enter there, as long as you're hating, Have
you gotten into it with those folks?
No, I've never met them, but I like to meet them. The one that I'd like to meet is Stephen Miller, who hates Latinos more than life itself. He's the architect of all this for Trump. I like to meet him and knock him out.
Holy shit.
Yeah, I wouldn't have a problem doing that.
Can I talk to you about just your stage career?
Sure.
And what you've done and the way you inspired me in storytelling?
Oh, that's awesome, man.
So listen, man, when I saw Spicorama and Sexaholics when I was in college, you did something where you showed me that performers can perform with all the colors of the emotional spectrum. You did something that's very awesome. You did something that was very rare for comedy, because stand-up comedy is usually seen as a self-deprecating art form. Right. There's this kind of Dangerfield aspect of like, I get no respect, I can't get a date. I get no respect. But you were up there in a white tank top. Bro, there's at least 3 or 4 shows. You take the shirt off. Yeah. So you both were able to do characters, do voices, to simultaneously be like sexy and be self-deprecating. Yeah. What made you go that route? Because you came up in the comedy clubs.
Well, I didn't like the comedy clubs. I mean, I love comedians. I mean, Richard Pryor, Lenny Bruce, Jonathan Winters were big influences to me. Yeah. But comedy in America to me was a little shallow, a little light, and I wanted to go where Latin people go when they tell stories, because Latin people are big storytellers and they like to go dark and emotional. So I wanted to go there, to all those places that American comics weren't going. Bring abuse, bring domestic violence into it, bring sadness, but still make you laugh like a motherfucker, and still be physical as fuck. And slapsticky, but I can still bring a lot of emotion to. You can combine the two, and you could also bring sexuality. Before there was something about Mary, I was doing jizz comedy, Freak. Yeah. And before American Pie, I was playing with my wiener and putting it in sandwiches. So I influenced a whole lot of comedy.
No, you were a wild dude. Because and what you did for me is there was 2 types of things. Like comedy's supposed to be cerebral, and then there was the kind of what you would talk about like in the hood rooms. Oh, they do the physical act outs. Right. You merged both of those things and then you put it on Broadway. Mm-hmm. And for me, I was like, oh, this is one of the most subversive things you could do. Because if you're not from New York, people don't understand how elite Broadway is. And by elitism, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It's very, NPR tote bag, big scarf energy.
You have to convince all these people, these older white people, that your content has value. And Sexaholics was Freak was very hard to get to Broadway because there was so much sexuality, because there was so much stuff that they were uncomfortable with. But I had other heavy hitter.
How did you break through? Like, how did this happen?
Other heavy hitter white people saw the value of what I was doing, and they fought really hard for me. White allies. Fought against the system.
Did you realize what was happening? Was that historical? I don't know if this is true, and I'm not one to fact check, but you were making, it was grossing millions of dollars per week?
Sexaholics, I was the second highest paid actor on Broadway history with Sexaholics. I was making $175,000 a week, but I was the second highest paid. The first highest paid, you're never gonna guess. Never. Give it a shot, quick.
Barbara Streisand.
No, Yul Brynner in
Wait, what?
The King and I in the 80s.
Okay,
He was
gotcha.
making $200,000 a week.
But the show was incredibly successful.
Yes, I mean, Freak was very successful. I got 2 Tony nominations. I got 2 Emmy nominations. I won an Emmy, lost to Tonys. Because, you know, it was the same group that didn't want me on Broadway. They're not going to award
But then
me.
you won an honorary Tony in 2018. Mm-hmm. Yeah, there we go.
Finally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Done. I like it. I like the retroactive.
Right,
Look, we got it wrong. We'll just
Here's
give you,
something.
we'll give you the MVP.
And
now.
I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. What?
All right, I wanted to ask your opinion on this. So I for real put you in my top influences: Chappelle, Rock, John Leguizamo,
Love those
Spalding Gray.
Oh, I love Spalding.
But then
He gave me my first Obie.
no way.
Yeah, it was an honor. What an incredible honor. Because Spalding Gray is a huge inspiration for me. So is Lily Tomlin, I got to say, and Eric Bogosian.
You now, I don't know if you've been watching comedy, but there's a whole group of like storyteller type comics.
Oh, wow.
Alex Edelman, myself, Gerard Carmichael, Hannah Gatsby. There's a ton.
Yeah.
How do you feel about your impact in shaping that? I don't even know if you're aware of this.
I was not aware. I mean, I was not aware of it, but now that you make a mention of it, I'm like, yeah, that's cool because I really pride myself on my storytelling. That was my gift to the world was storytelling. I worked really hard on taking you from point A to point B to point C.
Yeah.
A 3-act structure. You know, I would craft that shit for 3 or 4 years. I'd go on the road making sure that everything lined up and paid off, you know, I mean, all that.
Yeah.
So I worked really hard on my structure, yeah.
I feel like you and Whoopi, both you and Whoopi Goldberg, to me, you really broke the system. There was a code that was like, hey, stand-up's supposed to look like this.
Yes.
And you came up in the clubs. In your book, you talk about, there was Ray Romano, there's Rodney Dangerfield. You completely flipped that script.
Right, because I wasn't really...
Were you doing that by design, or were you just like, it's not gonna work for me here?
Yeah, it wasn't working for me. I mean, the comedy club stuff was not working. It wasn't really me, you know what I mean? And I'm trying to fit into, a square peg in a round hole, and I was trying to do the setup, punchline,
Right.
and it was just like not satisfying me. So I had to do my own thing, and luckily the performance art was a big deal in New York at that era in the 80s. So I found a place that accepted me to let me do long story forms and play a lot of characters and let me, I was always going on last, but people started finding me and laughing and they would stay till the very end to watch me. And then all of a sudden I started getting into all the big performance art spaces, the Kitchen, the Home, Dixon Place, PS 122. These were big deals back then in the 80s to get into these spots.
Yeah.
And that's where I found my crowd. It was a white crowd and a college crowd, but I knew eventually I would find my Latin crowd, and that's when I did Mambo Mouth, and it went on HBO, and everybody stole it, from their friends.
You wanna talk about Bob Trevino Likes It?
Oh yes, please! Oh my God,
Promote
my
it.
favorite indie movie, the little indie movie that could.
It's a very sweet movie.
More than sweet, bro. I mean, when I saw it at South by Southwest, with all these suits, because there was a lot of industry trying to decide if they're gonna buy it or not.
Yeah.
Dude, there was not a dry eye in the house. First of all, you're laughing your ass off.
Yeah.
When you watch it in Community, people laugh their asses off, and then everybody is snorting, and booger snot is coming out of your nose. It's that kind of crying, and then you leave, and you're feeling so good. It's such a feel-good movie, man. What a beautiful gift in these hard times where we're not respecting, we're not giving consideration to others, we're not being our best generous selves in America.
To me, it was about something that I think is really prevalent in 2025, which is loneliness.
Yes, well, yeah, the whole digital revolution
Yeah.
created a whole lot of loneliness in the world.
But do you think, what was it about the material that made you go like, this is some real stuff that I'm biting into, and it's worth like going deep on and talking about loneliness specifically?
Yeah, well, it's taking these two most unlikely people that are going to connect.
Yeah.
This 60-year-old guy.
Yeah, the film synopsis is crazy. A 50-something man and a 20-something woman meet on the internet and go camping together. I'm like, she's gonna get murdered.
Yeah, she's gonna get murdered.
Like,
he's grooming her.
Yeah, this is a really fucked up premise.
This is a hashtag Me Too moment.
Yeah, but that was my. I'm joking, obviously, but that's where my cynical comic brain is going.
That's where your male brain goes.
Yeah.
And but it's not that. I mean, it's based on loosely based on the director, creator Tracy Lehman, who's a beautiful human being. And she was estranged from her dad, and then she tried to connect with him, and she found him on Facebook, but it was the wrong guy she connected with. So in this movie, that's what happens. She fights with her narcissistic dad, and then they get estranged. Then she tries to connect with him on Facebook, and she connects with the wrong Bob Trevino. And then we start talking, but then we realize she doesn't know me, and we meet for coffee in a safe place. And we realized that we're just two very lonely people, and I don't have children. My wife and I have no children in the movie, and this girl becomes the child that we never had.
So it's so interesting. Like, I'm watching the movie and I go, this is a really beautiful portrayal of how two people in America can be this compassionate and empathetic.
Yes.
Is this even possible? But you clearly show that it is. Like, people are really feeling this way.
Oh my God, people need this. Americans want to feel that. They want to feel that we care about each other, that we're reaching across, that we're making an effort, that we respect each other.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That we're considerate of each other. Because Barbie, as an actress, first of all, that's a born star. Born star in this movie.
Totally.
Her work is so beautiful and raw. You've never seen anything like it. So it's a very special movie, man.
Yeah.
I mean, when I saw it with my whole entire family, we were all bawling.
Wow.
But in a beautiful way because we're bawling about, it makes you cry about that we can connect with each other, that we can respect each other, that we can love each other, no matter where we come from, found family, friends. It's just that humanity longs to be connected and longs to treat each other with respect, and it's these few other people who are destroyers, you know?
This is dope, man. Ladies and gentlemen, Leguizamo.
Thank you!
How would you feel if you found out that you've been having the fake version of something your entire life? Outraged? Angry? Well, get ready to get mad, because every cup of chai that you've bought at some chain coffee shop here in America is fake. It's packed with tons of sugar and artificial flavors that are horrible for your health. And for some reason, they keep spelling my name wrong. But it doesn't have to be that way. Kolkata chai is changing all of that. Zero sugar and natural ingredients that you can actually pronounce. Organic black tea, cardamom, black pepper, fresh cinnamon. It's the boldest cup of chai you can find with their unique range of chai blends and concentrates. And you don't have to stand in line for it for hours. You can make it at home in minutes. It's the only chai that's allowed in the Minhaj household. All other chais are forbidden. Head to kolkatachai.co/Hasan to grab your first cup and 2 free gifts on me.